end of season retreat mountain hiking.
All right, Blue Blacks, here we come. All right, I am looking very done. My hair and makeup is very done because I have an award show tonight, but I want to quickly sit down here and film some kind of context. You'll notice I have gray hair in this clip. My subscriber did my hair. If you haven't checked that video out yet, check it out. But in the rest of this video, like the vlog clips from the actual weekend, I had purple hair because this video was filmed over my birthday weekend, which was, my birthday was February 8th. I turned 26 and this was kind of a little birthday trip. So it's been a long time coming, but I've been putting off filming these clips. So now here we are. The video is finally getting made. This is a video you guys have been begging for years. Anytime I mention that I love downhill skiing or brag about how good I am at downhill skiing, people are like, girl, I'm confused. Both here on the internet and in real life. Anytime I like casually mention how much I love skiing, people are like, does she know she's blind? And I'm like, don't worry, I'm less of a risk on this hill than you are. All right, let me tell you. So I have been downhill skiing since I was 8 years old. I come from an athletically inclined family. I was always very athletic growing up. Oh my God, I was doing swimming, basketball, tennis, volleyball. I played competitive soccer, dance, gymnastics, ice skating. Like, we just did it all. And certain sports I took to more than others. Soccer was my thing. I was a passionate, fierce, some would say aggressive soccer player. In fact, I was voted most aggressive player on the team every year. My mom just giggled in the corner. You remember me on that field, Neve?
We should put a photograph up of you. Oh my God.
Oof. This is Molly, fiercely playing soccer in sunglasses. My dad, at the beginning of every game, would go and be like, my daughter is legally blind. She needs to wear sunglasses and a hat, or a hat, depended on like how strong the sun was that time of day. And that was the only accommodation they made for me. That black and white ball, it was mine. I was center forward. Eyes on the prize. But it was really tough because when I was around 8 or 9, you know, with competitive soccer, once you go up to that level, you play all year round. You practice during the winters. There isn't like soccer season in the summer. Like, it's an all year round sport when you're at the competitive level. And unfortunately, the facility that was for our local indoor soccer team was too dimly lit. So with my disease, retinitis pigmentosa, you lose the ability to see in dim and dark lighting first. And so I never had night vision. And dim lighting was getting harder and harder. It was basically just unsafe at that point for me to play. We realized after a few practices, like the Dome tried to get it as bright as they could, and we tried to work around it, but it was like I was becoming a danger on the field to myself and to others, especially because I was that like center forward. I was running with the ball. Like, I wasn't just standing in the net or working the defense line. I was running. So it was just too unsafe. And so at that point, my parents had to make a very difficult decision, which was devastating for me, to pull me out of soccer. And that was honestly like a massive part of my identity as a kid. I remember having like little charm bracelets with soccer balls on it. And like, I was so proud of my soccer. And so when I lost that, it was really difficult for me, but my parents were always really good at finding other options. So whenever I would lose a sport growing up, they would try to like gain a sport that was accessible to the blind. And that's when I found accessible skiing for the blind. And I grew up skiing with a group called the Ski Hawks in Ontario. If I can find info on them, I'll link it below in case you are in Toronto or Ottawa. I know for sure Toronto and Ottawa both have ski hawk groups where a sighted volunteer skis with a blind skier. And day one, what they would do is they would start you on Wednesday nights. So Wednesday nights you would do for at least a year usually to kind of, they were like, it was a really easy hill and they would just work your turns and your positioning, your calling, seeing how quick you respond, getting it down. And then once you were good enough, the next year or two or whatever, however long it took, they would move you to the Saturday skiing, which was the all-day skiing at different private resorts around the Toronto area. So my first Wednesday night out skiing, I crushed it. Didn't I, Mama?
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Crushed it.
Proud mama.
Got out there, nailed it, and they were all, I was 8, keep in mind, and fully night blind. So we were skiing at night, so I could not see a damn thing when I was doing my first ever ski lesson. And they were like, does she want to come this Saturday? So boom, one Wednesday night night class, and Molly was moved up to Saturdays. And I skied every single Saturday for winter after winter for many years. And my first or second time skiing out on the Saturdays, I did a black diamond. And for those who don't know, I'll kind of put up a chart that dictates the levels of ski hills, but a black diamond, it basically goes like the bunny hill, green, blue, blue, black, black, double black, so it kind of goes up. So a black diamond is definitely like on the harder end of skiing, and many sighted skiers and snowboarders don't get to that level for a very long time. So just, I guess, being athletically inclined, I just took to it well. And I also have mentioned a number of times on here that I'm just a big adrenaline junkie. I like doing things that scare me. I like trying new things. I like doing things I probably shouldn't. I love speed. Like, let me go fast, always. So I just naturally took to it, and I ended up just where I was at in life, not skiing for many years between my career, and then prior to that, between just like school and having a high school job and, you know, just growing up, I didn't have time for skiing anymore. So I didn't ski for a number of years, but about 4 or 5 years ago, I picked it up again for Christmas. I asked for all new ski equipment and got back out on those slopes, and it was like a duck to water. I just took right back to it. It was like no time had passed. I freaking fell in love with it. It was kind of like this thing, like every sport I would get into, my parents were always told, you know, if she committed to this, she could go to the Paralympics. You know, if she just committed to this, like for running, I had 2 different schools want to get me carded for running to pursue going to the Paralympics for running, and I just didn't care enough. Like I was like, no, it's not my thing. But every sport I would kind of get into, they'd be like, you know, if she really stuck with this, like she could go all the way. And the only sport that I ever cared enough to actually try to pursue that would have been downhill skiing. It was definitely like one of those things for me where I was like, I either pursue entertainment or like Paralympic skiing. And obviously here we are, I pursued entertainment, and I am so glad I did. But that's kind of like still that one of those things where I'm like, ah, my heart does really beat for skiing. And so my best friend Bradon, who you guys know very, very well, his family runs an organization called Extreme Mobility, where they empower blind people, mainly in their teens and 20s, to try extreme sports. So they have one in the summer that they run here in Los Angeles, and one in Colorado in the winter, and one of the activities they do is skiing. And so they've been really considering doing skiing, maybe not another ski camp, adding it to Mammoth here in California. And so they kind of did a little trial weekend with me, James Rath, and another girl to see, you know, would it work? Can we get contacts up there? What would the system be up there? And test it out. So it just happened to fall on my birthday weekend, and I wasn't able to make it to the Colorado winter group this year. So I was like, perfect. Love it. And so all worked out, and Bradon, my mom, Gallop, James, and I headed up to Mammoth on our little road trip. Oh, Gallop's been very grumpy about the skis above his head. We're like 5 minutes into a 5-hour road trip, so he's only gonna get increasingly more grumpy.
Are we there yet?
Says the one driving and navigating us. Road trip, road trip, road trip. Bradon, you and I always wanted to go on a road trip, and we're finally on a road trip.
Yay!
And then there's this weird kid in the front.
Who's this guy? We
I don't
picked
know.
him up on the road. He had a cane.
Some weird albino in the front.
He had a cane, and we were like, hey, we should pick him up. You want to go skiing?
I held my hand up and got in the first car that came up.
Here we are. You lucked out, son.
Yeah.
Road trip, road trip.
99 bottles of beer. Oh, Chris. Yeah. No.
Family friendly.
Who's that?
My bestie Bradon.
How you doing?
Might have just fell.
Oh, and your other bestie, Gallo.
By the way, Bradon, the other day I mentioned in a video like, oh, one of my best friend's page, and then in the comment section, everybody's like, what about Bradon? How insulting! You got, he's
Thank
your
you guys.
best friend.
Thank
So
you for defending me.
they're all coming to your rescue. As you see, I'm currently in ski boots. Got my ski poles, which I've only honestly skied with once in my life. These are brand new. I bought them this morning, along with ski goggles, because as you guys know, I lost those skydiving with the Dalton twins. And I also had to buy snow pants, because apparently those 20 pounds I packed on really hitting those hips. So, happy birthday to Molly. You guys aren't seeing this for a few weeks, but today is literally my 26th birthday, and I woke up to the stark realization of how much weight I gained when I tried to put my snow pants on. So it was a really good way to start 26. We are in Mammoth, which is, we road tripped yesterday about, well, it was supposed to be like 5 hours. It was like 8. It's fine. We stopped, you know, we bought bathing suits, we got snacks, we got dinner. We were just taking it easy. But we had a lot of fun. We played Braille Uno last night, and now we're gonna hit the slopes. And you guys always ask me when I say that I ski to see how this works, how it happens, and I've promised you guys this video, but honestly, I haven't been skiing in 2 years because I moved to LA 2 years ago, and I was just kind of like getting my feet in LA, and now I've got to get my feet back out on the slopes. I've never skied in Mammoth before, so I'm just gonna spend the morning kind of figuring out this resort, seeing what it's like. I've never skied with the guides before here, so I'm gonna ski with them, see what they're like, and then this afternoon I'm gonna bring you guys out with me to see how it goes. I'm really excited to be back on the slopes again. In Canada, I do black diamonds. In Colorado, I did blue blacks. So I don't know how it's going to be here. I'm going to start on a green just to get my feet under me, see the guiding style. I usually prefer just left and right calls, and once they trust me, I prefer when they just let me call my own turns, and they'll jump in when they need to. Here they want to provide me with 2 guides, which I've never had before. They want to have 1 guide behind, 1 guide in front. I've only ever skied with guides behind, like 1 guide behind me, but they said it's very busy, so they prefer to just have 2. I don't know, maybe it's because they don't trust me, we'll see. And they're also going to put a thing in my ear so that I can hear the turns because it is so windy today. I've also never skied with a thing in my ear, so that should be interesting. And I think I have to wear a blind skier vest, which I also don't typically wear. It's all new experiences, and I'm bringing you along for the ride. I just securing my new goggles. They're not quite as fly as my last ones, but I like that they're like just sleek and white and clean.
Yeah, they go really well with the helmet underneath.
They still have a tag on.
We'll get that up. I love
but-
your little hat though. I'd forgotten what it would look like.
Yeah, well, it goes like that, which is nice because it's so cold up there today. My mom just walked me into the men's bathroom.
Where Bradon was.
I warned you.
She just
She's like-
followed Braden. Like, she just like was like, oh, we're all going to the bathroom, and just like waltzed in, and then she's like, are we in the men's room? And I was like, oh my god. So that's how we've started our day. Pants not fitting, no ski goggles, and men's room. It's been a good start. Galp's just off away doing his own thing. Typical. He's less of a skier and more of a nap in the chalet guy. So he's gonna hang out with his grandma Mama Bee and snuggle up by the fire. And then I have my super cute blind skier vest on. And I have my Bradon.
Hello.
And I have Emily, who's my guide here at Mammoth. And it is a windy day, but it is beautifully sunny, and I'm really excited. So I have to get my skis on. God, I haven't done this in 2 years. Okay. So where's my skis? Yep, you start with that. Almost forward a little bit more. Yay!
Well done.
Okay, so I put these around my wrists. This is how you know I only use these once. Wow, that wind.
Moving.
Oh, it's you! I thought that was wind.
You have a sticker that says you're small.
So windy.
Bye guys.
Had some lunch. I got a GoPro mounted, so hopefully I can get you guys some footage from my perspective. I had a great time out there. The snow is a mix of powder and like super condensed icy patches, so it's been interesting sussing that out. It's pretty busy, but we got some like quiet wind like areas where I could just like speed, which I love to go fast. That's my favorite. So that was really fun.
How's your coach finding you?
I don't know, you're gonna have to ask Emily. How am I doing?
Great. Skiing beautifully, loving it. And I like that you are going fast because that keeps me entertained too.
Yay! I'm entertaining.
Keeps me on my toes.
I have a question. You
Yes.
said a lot of blind skiers that you've worked with do very like zigzag sharp turns, whereas mine were more of the like rounded turns. Like, why do you think a lot of blind skiers do that?
I think it has a lot to do with just balance point and comfortability and speed. If you watch typical skiers ski, what ends up happening is if they get speeds that are too quick, they do what I call speed checks, and that's what creates that zigzaggy type turn. So if you're more comfortable and better balanced over your ski, you're going to have a rounder turn.
So I got the good rounded turn.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're
Check.
balanced, which is like the basis of all skiing. So
Which is great because
Yes.
I have very bad balance general, so that's good. Also, so we started with the green and we ended with one that had a blue-black section. So we're getting there. My goal is to have a full blue-black by the end of the day.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're heading. So
Let's do it.
yeah.
How are you feeling, Bradon?
I am like so pumped. I've fallen like 2 times and no one knows because I'm holding the camera, and so it's just getting cut out. So I'm doing great. Haven't fallen at all.
I actually haven't fallen at all. So.
End of season retreat mountain biking.
All right, blue-blacks, here we come. Full day of skiing complete. I am telling you guys, I did not want to stop. It was so fun. There's definitely like a lot of dense icy patches, which was a little challenging at times, but honestly, like I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so that gives me like that like adrenaline to be like, okay, every turn, especially when you're on like a really steep one. I think we got to like a light black diamond at the end. The last one we did, which we didn't film, was a training race course for ski racers. So it was really fun. Super slick, super steep, really enjoyed it. I like to either go really fast or it needs to be steep. Like I want one or the other to challenge myself. So the morning was just getting, the first few runs were getting my feet back. By the end of the morning, I felt really good. And then by the afternoon, I was sailing. I was loving it. So fun. Definitely a really great way to spend my birthday back skiing for the first time in 2 years. I loved it so much. My guide, Emily, was super awesome. And she said it's the most fun she's ever had guiding a blind skier. We just had fun, skied fast. It was fun. I like calling my own turns, which is where I don't call them out loud. I just freaking ski. I just do it, and if she needs to say something, she will, and that's always my favorite. And she's like, I've never done that with a blind skier before. Like, that was super cool for me. So that was really fun. Yeah, overall, really good time. My feet are sore, so I'm excited to soak in the hot tub tonight. And my hands, like I said, today was only my second time ever skiing with poles, so my thumbs like dislocate, pop out of the so grabbing the poles, I kept like dislocating my thumbs, and so they were a little sore at times, so I had to keep like stretching them out and stop, because every time I it just, but yeah, it's what?
Deformed.
I know. Look at all these things you did to me with your genetics.
Sorry, 26 years ago.
I didn't cook fully, but it's okay. I'm fun for it,
You're worth it.
Yeah, very good way to spend my birthday. I think potentially I heard murmurings of a potential cheesecake tonight for my birthday. We've brought some champagne, and then I'm hitting the slopes again in the morning. So I had such an incredible time in Mammoth, and I'm gonna just kind of leave it to my editor, my incredible editor Amanda, to put in any of the clips here to show skiing. We tried to get as many angles as we could. I got some GoPro footage on the top of my helmet. We tried to get some on my ski instructor's helmet, so because she skis behind me. Basically, she skis behind me and calls my turns, left, right, stop, whatever.
Right turn and left. And right.
But Bradon also snowboarded beside me skiing to get some footage. So I'm sorry if it's shaky, but we did our best just to show you kind of some of the flow of things. Keep in mind, this was like my first time back on skis in 2 years. I was like, Bradon, why didn't you get me the afternoon? You're getting me out like the morning, my first morning back skiing. But it was a lot of fun. And my ski guide was so fun. She was so cool. She's been doing adaptive skiing at Mammoth for, I think she said, between 5 and 7 years. And we just had so much fun. And she really trusted me, which I appreciate, because she had never skied with a blind skier who requested her not to call turns. So the way I typically like to do it, and every blind skier is different. Every blind skier has a different system. Every ski guide has a different system that they prefer. But I don't like the earpieces. It bothers my ear. So sometimes I'll put an earpiece in and the guide will wear a mic so you can hear over things like wind, or if the snow is very packed and icy and slick, and it makes that sound under your skis. Skiers will know what I'm talking about. But I don't like those, so usually I'm just like, you're just gonna have to yell, I'm sorry. Basically, kind of the first few runs, you work out your system, figure out the flow. She can see my ability, and I told her, look, I like you to ski behind me and just say left, right, stop. That's it. I don't want any more, anything else. That's it. The first time I do a hill, at the top I stop and I kind of say, you know, okay, so it's gonna be blue, then it goes to blue black, then it's gonna be blue again. It gets a bit narrow at the final blue period, goes pretty quick into the ski lift, sharp left. Like, I like to kind of get the first run down verbally. The first run I do on a new hill is never my best run because I'm feeling out the snow under my skis. Is it powdery? Is it slick? I'm figuring out, okay, how steep does it get here? How narrow does it feel? How busy is it? Because honestly, I trust myself on skis more than I trust other skiers around me, because even though some hills make me wear a blind skier vest, which I don't like to wear, people don't pay attention. I think any skier or snowboarder who gets out on slopes frequently would say that. Like, a lot of people just don't pay attention to their surroundings, which truly is the most dangerous part of skiing, is other people who don't pay attention. I feel like it's kind of like driving. You know you're safe on the road, but it's other drivers you might have to be concerned about and watch out for. So I don't like wearing the blind skier vest. Some slopes like require me to wear it, which I understand, but a lot of people still don't pay attention. So I kind of like to just get my feel for the slope. They'll maybe stop me once we get to the change in terrain and be like, okay, stop, this is what's coming up next. But then the third, fourth, fifth time I'm doing that hill, we're nailing it, we're killing it, we're flying, love it. So I'm gonna link Extreme Mobility down below, as well as the adaptive ski program at Mammoth, and any other info like the Ski Hawks in the description box if you are a blind or disabled skier who's interested in learning. Ski Hawks and Extreme Mobility are specifically for blind people, but the Mammoth does all sorts of different adaptive skiing. So I'll link all that info below. I highly recommend checking them out. And if you are looking for somewhere to donate this year, Extreme Mobility is really incredible organization. And the reason adaptive sports really is so important and means so much to me is because it's like freedom. It's empowering. In so much of my life, I feel like people look at me as somebody who they assume is less capable. And I love going on those ski slopes and just crushing it and having that freedom. Like, I'm not attached to a guide's elbow. I'm not attached to a cane. I'm not attached to a guide dog. It's me and my skis in that snow, and it's freedom, and especially getting that speed. Like, it's just this rush, and I feel so confident out there. There's very few things in life where I'm like, I can actually do that better than a sighted person, and skiing is one of those things where I know a lot of people are like, I just can't ski, like, I've tried, I can't do it, and I'm like, I've got this. And it's one of those few things in life where I'm like, I know I'm really good at it. Despite the fact that I'm blind, I know that I'm better at it than some sighted people who try it, and it just kind of makes me feel good when I can get out there and I know it's just me and the skis and the wind around me. And that's why I really like to request my guides, like, once they gain enough confidence in my skiing ability, I just ask them, like, I would love if you can just like yell at me, like, call your own turns. And usually that's at a time when the ski slope is pretty empty. We've done it once or twice before. There isn't many people around us, and they're just like, go Molly, you do your thing. And they just trust me. I just go left, I go right, I go left, I go right. And when they need to start calling turns again for whatever reason, they'll jump in. And I just love that moment where in my mind, like, I'm alone. You know, I'm alone on that hill, just doing my thing. And it's very empowering. And especially when you're in a situation like mine where it's a degenerative disease, it slowly takes away so many pieces of your life and your freedom and your ability and your passions, you know, like losing soccer. And I think if I had lost my soccer on my vision loss journey but not gained my skiing, it would have been much harder for me to accept. But because I lost one passion and gained a new one, it was easier for me to emotionally move on. And so that's why I believe adaptive sports are so important. But at the same time, like my friend Bradon often says, a lot of sports, especially like skiing or horseback riding, which were two adaptive sports that I took on, are privileged sports. They're very expensive. And with 80% of blind people being unemployed and living below the poverty line, it's very difficult for them to gain access to these opportunities. And that's why it is so important that groups like Extreme Mobility exist, where they take the financial burden completely out of the experience and say, we're gonna give you the experience. And that's why I say, like, if you're looking for somewhere to donate this year, they're a good one because they do empower so many blind people. I'm lucky that I got the opportunity through my family and they were able to afford to do that, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity. opportunity, and XMO gives that to them. So that's a typical Molly Rambles video about my history with skiing, how I ski, why I think it's important for other people to have the opportunity to access accommodated or accessible sports for their specific disability, whatever it might be. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a little road trip down to Mammoth for my birthday ski weekend with XMO. Thank you to the XMO team, my best friend Bradon, his family, everybody at Mammoth, my guide. I had a great time, and hopefully it won't be another 2 years before I get the opportunity to hit the slopes again. Since moving to LA, it's definitely been the thing I've missed the most. Back when I lived in Toronto, I went skiing every single weekend, and it was kind of the only part of winter I liked. It was the only thing that got me through the long, cold winters. But since moving to LA, even though, you know, there are some groups around here that do it, it's much further to get from LA to ski hills than it was in Toronto for me. And also, I just don't have the same network here that I did in Toronto growing up in the blind community there my whole life. So I'm building that slowly but surely. I'm building that community here. So it was really great getting back on the slopes, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so and to share it with you guys. I hope you found this interesting. If you are disabled, there's nothing you can't do. You just have to figure out a different way to do it, you know? So if you love something, find a way to accommodate it. Yeah. All right. Check out this video right here where I tried beat baseball for the blind for the first time, and this video here where I tried to be an acrobat and tried the aerial hoop with fellow YouTuber Sophie Dossie. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.